What's good, everybody? I'm Johnny Danger,
I'm Jesse Wheeler.
and we are the Dangerous Dudes.
Here's for tequila.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, we've been asked countless times, how did you guys meet? You know, what's your story? What's your background?
Your origin story.
Yeah, your origin story. And we're going to give it to you right now. So, to get right to it, it all started in 1999.
Yes. 99, we meet at an engagement party.
Yes.
A churchy, God-fearing engagement party
Mm-hmm.
in which we drank too much. I made a complete ass out of myself.
Yeah.
Ended up sleeping in the minivan that night.
That's what I admired about you the most.
Barf all over me.
Yeah.
Angry wife. But we meet, we realize we have common interests in music and sports and really liked all the same bands. And then we have a common friend, Johan, who became our drummer of our first band. So we decide, hey, we like music.
Yeah.
You're a musician. I'm a musician. I got this friend who's a drummer. Let's start a band. So we did.
Within weeks.
Yeah. And we wrote songs right out of the gate and learned songs. And
that became Dynamite Smile.
Dynamite Smile, our band number one, where not my first band, but obviously my first band with you.
Mm-hmm.
And my first proper gigging band as an adult. I had bands that played in high school at parties, but like my first real like gigs at bars and clubs was that band. Like we learned a lot.
Yeah, you wrote songs, I wrote songs, you played guitar, I played guitar.
We started it with the guitar switch. My songs, I would play guitar, you would play bass. Your songs, you would play guitar, I would play bass.
Yeah.
And then about halfway through, I remember it was after a show at Westside Cheers. I was like, I don't want to do the switch anymore. I'm the bass player now. You're the guitar player.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I did not want to be the bass player.
Oh, you were a good bass player.
Huh.
We did 2 albums. We came out with 2 CDs with that band. And we learned a lot and cut our teeth, learned a lot about performing, about writing songs, lots of fun. It was fun the whole way. At the time we both start having kids. Actually, I had Caleb was born when we met.
Mm-hmm.
Then Keegan came, then Lexi, then Asia. By the time Dynamite Smiles done in 2004, which by the way, still the biggest show we've ever played, the most people we've ever played is still from the Dynamite Smile era. The Battle of the Bands.
The Battle of the Bands.
We've made more money. We've done plenty of great things, but the most people I've ever played for still is that Battle of the Bands. It was an unbelievable.
It was an incredible experience.
Memory.
And at that Battle of the Bands, we met our buddy Jake Marion from the band Revel. And, we lost to them that night. They were the eventual winners. But a sort of respect, admiration, mutual admiration started between the 2 bands. Really respected each other. And
we played 2 more shows with them.
Yeah.
And then we played the
Overground Festival. And that was the culmination, right? Where we were opening for Breaking Benjamin, this big local show that Eric Charles put on, and ran into Jake after the Breaking Benjamin set backstage, and we exchanged phone numbers. He said, hey, I love your songs. Give me a call sometime. And I was like, well, that's pretty good timing because this is our last show with Dynamite Smile. We decided to part ways at that time, and we started the Red Umbrella, and it was like a quick, torrid romance. It was a fling. No, we brought in Jake's buddy Brian Teeter to play drums. He could write songs. He was amazing. We recorded an album, So I Drink. It's recently been the
streaming
20th
services now, yeah.
The 20th anniversary, but it was an amazing experience. I learned so much from that band about music theory, and just we had 3 singers in the band, 4 songwriters.
During the course of our musical journey, it's a blink, but
it's an incredibly
we
important
played a
one.
handful of shows, but we rehearsed. That's the most diligent I've ever been with respect to getting tight and learning material so that we could go in the studio and do it.
If I was going to liken our musical experience to an education, I would say, and not to discount Dynamite Smile, but it was what it was. We were young, inexperienced, not that great. Recording techniques and everything, but it was like we got our associate's degree with Dynamite Smile. We got our bachelor's degree with the Red Umbrella. And then what was to come next was our graduate degree. We got our master's with Castle Bravo. We hooked up with Chris Bedell, Pat Ward. Chris was a longtime friend of mine from my childhood, who also happens to be one of the most insane drummers on planet Earth. That is not hyperbole. He is,
and Pat Ward
a unicorn,
mad scientist, equally as talented a musician.
And we had to level up, step up our game. That was an amazing experience.
That was intimidating for me, very challenging, but also kind of vindicating. Like, all right, we can do it. That band was all about, like, how can we challenge ourselves further? And that was where I got to a level where I'm not nervous about this anymore.
No, I mean, you know, it's funny. You had gone from that period of time in Dynamite Smile, where you said, okay, I'll be the full-time bass player, almost reluctantly, and fast forward to Castle Bravo. You were a pretty great bass player.
I started to think of myself as a bass player.
You had to be to keep up with Pat and Chris.
That was the first point where it's like, all right, I'm a bass player now.
Yeah. You're a real guy,
which is kind of interesting.
That's a terminology within the Dangerous Dudes and the friends that we have closest to us is like, oh, he's a real guy, and that's the highest compliment we can bestow upon someone. So that experience was amazing, but all good things come to an end.
Halfway through Castle Bravo, so we always talk about Castle Bravo 1.0. It's just the four of us. Castle Bravo 2.0 is obviously post your injury.
Yeah, I had a spinal cord injury in 2010, April 2nd, 2010. It changed the course of history for me, obviously, and my family, but also, you know, our recording, you know, and our performing and our, you know, just everything. It affected everything, and everything came to a screeching halt. Didn't know if I was going to you know, live at first, but then it was like probably never going to walk again, going to be wheelchair bound. You know, the furthest, you know, thing in the corner of my mind was ever playing again. And as luck would have it, and you know, hard work, tons of therapy. I got to go to the one of the best rehab facilities in the country at Shepherd Center in Atlanta, and slowly started to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. My limbs started to move. I stood. I was able to take steps, and eventually was able to walk again. And it was October of that same year. I was
2010.
Propping myself up with an arm cane and trying to get, you know, words and lyrics and out of my chest, and like I had very little diaphragm strength, but like, you guys were telling me how great I sounded, and I knew you were lying to me.
We were waiting for it, though.
Yeah.
I can tell you my perspective on the injury, obviously, as a bystander, but I remember it happening. It was on a Friday. I remember on the Saturday, I spoke to you on the phone. You were having surgery. And so at that point, I'm still thinking quadriplegic. Is there some sort of a mental impact?
There was.
and I just didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
And I went to see you in the hospital that Monday, and you were still out of it. And I left there thinking, I don't know what's going to happen. at this point. I don't know.
It doesn't look good.
I wasn't feeling great about it.
Yeah.
I went back on Wednesday.
Neither was I.
Yeah. I went back on Wednesday, and you were still physically out of it, but mentally, I was like,
there he is.
All right, we still got the brain. We're still there mentally. And then by Friday, Pat, Chris, and I all went back, and you were fully there mentally. Obviously, it took a while on the physical side of things with the rehab facility. But for me, it was like the mental part of it. The brain was all, unaffected. Mm-hmm. And that for me was like, all right, we still can work with that, whatever this looks like on the other side. And so Pat, Chris, and I were kind of these lost, souls. And
yeah, because I was off to Atlanta for a few months.
We were still jamming, trying to figure out what we wanted to do, playing, because it was something we just wanted to do.
It must have been weird for you guys.
It was. And we had, we were kind of
so much momentum too.
Oh, we did, really did. I mean, we had the third album was done.
Well, the EP
came out the day before.
My injury. It came out April 1st.
Yeah.
And on April Fool's Day, which we did on purpose. And my grandfather passed away on April 1st. So we were having a celebration, to commemorate his life on April 2nd. I had this diving accident in Cuga Lake, and it just changed everything. So the furthest thought from my mind was ever performing again, because it just took a back seat to just surviving at that point. But
so then it was I remember we had been jamming, we had been practicing jamming, just doing various things. And then it was Johnny Danger wants to come up and see what he can do, and the excitement about it. And obviously the first time you weren't yourself, but we immediately were writing new songs, and it became clear that with some work, we have something here.
And I was only going to get stronger. And man, did I have a lot of things to write about.
Oh yeah. And so you had been the primary songwriter before that. Mm-hmm. At this point, Pat and I start writing the music, but you had lyrics you wouldn't believe. And lyrics for days.
And I got to tell you, I was so thrilled with the music that you two were, the three of you, obviously, but the chord structure and the melodies and stuff that you and Pat had created and laid down was so easy for me to put vocals to. And eventually my voice got stronger. I got, more chest and more diaphragm strength. And it was okay.
And don't forget, Kristen enters the picture.
Right. So we have Kristen Grant,
who's part of Castle Bravo 2.0.
Who's part of Castle Bravo 2.0 that I met in college. And honestly, I needed her. And
I think the band needed her. She was
perfect.
She was this you got four farting dudes, and then you have this operatic voice,
this grounding
female who's just
present,
this beautiful person
and a great voice.
And we have this second act
of
Castle Bravo at that point, which unfortunately most of the recordings we have of that part are live, which still haven't been produced or released someday.
Right.
But that was a full-on, we played as many gigs, if not more, with the 2.0 act of Castle Bravo as we did with 1.0. Very different band. We were two different bands, but still the same people. And while that band was not bound to last forever,
we squeezed every last bit of juice out of that fruit. It was incredible.
And in our frustrations with, the final stages of that, we went on the trip to Boston in 2011.
Yeah. That was a turning point.
Physically.
I got to tell you, that was my first big venturing out into the great big world in this new body of mine. And went with a couple buddies of ours, went to go see a couple Red Sox games and just had a long weekend with the dudes. And it was like, okay, this is something that like I should aspire to, right? It's not about the hand that life dealt you. It's about how you played that hand. And I started to play the hand the way I wanted to play it. And you were a big part of that. You were like my biggest cheerleader, you know, my biggest sponsor in the whole thing. We're like, let's just do it. Like, life's short, let's just do it. And that's been a motto of ours ever since. And it's parlayed into Tijuana Danger Dogs, which we started.
Was born out of that trip. The name was born at the Bell in Hand.
Yeah, it was born out of that trip. It was, you know, a horrible dietary decision that you made that gave you explosive diarrhea the next day, and was a Tijuana Danger Dog that you ate at the Bell in Hand. But we were writing music together.
We start the side project.
Yep.
We're writing music. I got the laptop. We start writing music, and then we start this new Castle Bravo ends, and Danger Dogs start right from there. We were a recording act.
Yep.
But then we decide we want to be a live act as well. Took a little time to figure out.
Yeah, it morphed and morphed and morphed.
But that's an important part of this whole journey was, I believe it's 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, 2016 is the year. It's just me and you. We played so many shows that year.
Yep.
The 2-man show, just me and you. We figured it out. Like, we started one way. We struggled at first, and then we hit a stride with that 2-man act where we had this confidence. We made another battle of the bands that everybody who went to those shows knows that we should have won. I'm not bitter about it at all.
No.
But like, they weren't going to give it to a 2-man act.
Right.
But we were on a run.
We had the audience in our hand.
We were on a run of electric shows.
But we knew we needed like some help, and we wanted to be a real band again, wanted to be loud again with the electric guitars. And your dad was the one that suggested, hey, knobheads,
you got a drummer in the house.
You got a drummer in the house. Caleb was 17 at the time. Keegan was a spectacular musician already at 16 years old.
Like, hey,
my
you want
son,
to play bass?
Yeah. And we started this band with our two sons, and that one of the advantages of having kids in your early 20s is you don't have this massive gap. And we shared similar interests in music that we all liked. And it came together real quick. We played that first show at the Barleycorn in January of 2017.
First practice was November of 2016,
yep.
Which is going to be 10 years this year. There's going to be a big 10-year show.
Yep.
And they went right into playing in clubs at 7.
In high school.
Caleb had turned 17 and 18 in the meantime. So they're 17 and 18 in high school, both in high school, playing at bars.
Yep.
We had shows booked.
Lots of them.
And it was like, all right, we're doing it. Because I remember thinking, we invite these boys to be in the band. You know, this can go sideways in a number of ways.
Right. What if
one of them doesn't work out?
Both of them, but the fear was, what if one of them doesn't work out? And then we have to tell it,
like, we're like, this isn't working.
And it was alleviated. That fear was alleviated
immediately. I was like, all right, this is working. Guys, we got a show in January. You're going to play. So we played part of that show.
Half and half.
Show, part of it with them. And then from that point forward, everything was the full band. And then it's just, that has been the most rewarding musical experience of my life. All those bands that we've had have been just phenomenal experiences. But seeing those two kids grow into the musicians they are now. And like, there was a point in time, it's almost like you reach this point in time where it's like we were the leaders of the band. We're these seasoned veterans. We knew like the whole game. And then there was like this point in time where you drew a line in the sand. It's like, we're the sideshow now. Like, these guys are the band.
Right. We moved.
Yeah.
I used to be center stage. I was the lead singer in the center stage, and Lisa Marie, we had this manager that we took on. She was big at marketing and promotions, and she was super brutally honest. Like, I love your band. I love your guys. I love you guys. I love your story. Why is Keegan out here on the outside fringes and Johnny's in the center. Like
Right.
it's time to make that move. We move Keegan to center stage. So we got the two old hats on the outside.
Two old guys on the outside. You got
playing
Keegan
guitars,
and Caleb down the middle.
Keegan and Caleb down the middle, and everybody saw it. Everybody felt that energy, and it just exploded from there.
Keegan became like a great front man.
Oh my goodness!
We would feature Caleb like back in the day. You would do a drum solo at every show.
This is pre-COVID when like the bars and the clubs were still filled, and people were not afraid to go out. There was no such thing as like a streaming show or anything. Like you had to go to see a show. And those are the good, those were good days.
And we mature as a band.
Yep.
Like we've now had this band longer than any other band. We mature. And then in 2024, 8 years into it, we release Elephant in the Room, which turns out that far into it to be the most successful thing that we've ever done.
Yeah.
Everything that all the I guess praise that's come
accolades
from that song, like it's one of those things that you put time and energy into all of this, and then you eventually have something that a lot of people consume and appreciate, and that's something that we have as a group, the four of us. And they have Magenta, and Danger Dogs are now like old vets where we're picking and choosing our spots to play shows. We're still a band. We're still...
Yeah. But it's a good spot to be in.
I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm enjoying seeing them kind of, blossom from that, and feeling like, that for a long time I said, my dad had been bugging me. Caleb took drum lessons from a young age. He's like, let Caleb join the band. You need a drummer. It's like, I always thought like his first band shouldn't be with his dad. And then now
you were wrong.
Now I think like
it was the best thing that could have ever happened.
The best thing for all of us, selfishly for me, but like for them, like it turned out to be this, like, I think a pretty awesome thing. Like,
check out Magenta NYS. They're spectacular, not just because they're our sons. That's just an incredible band. I just want to pull it back and kind of put a bow on this.
But then, in
this 2020, we had this idea for the Dangerous Dudes, right? We had been told by so many of our friends, fans of the band, people that got to know the two of us, Johnny and Jesse. We've been a package deal for the past 26 years now, and it's been an interesting ride. It's been very eventful.
Yeah.
And we were always told, like, man, you guys should have cameras following you around. Like, you live an interesting life. You should put this, out there, for people to see. So we listened to that advice, and in a very amateur sort of way, we started to just shoot live videos, and we called it the Dangerous Dudes Podcast. And I think we got 4 episodes into it, and we're like, man, this is hard work, and we really don't know what the hell we're doing. Let's put this idea on the shelf for a minute. And that minute turned out to be for about 5 years. And 5 years later, in March of 2025, we relaunched. And ever since then, it's been about capturing moments. It's been about, instead of saying why not, going on road trips, tackling big challenges like playing golf. Like, physically for me, just even to stand and take a golf shot initially was a challenge. Now it's like, can I break 100?
That's what I wanted to do.
Nice carry. Set up well for your next shot. Kind of a pussy move, but that's okay.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. Nice and straight. It's good distance. It doesn't matter. That's actually real good distance. You're
Still
just
rolling. Yeah.
You're
My 5 is not dialed in just yet.
right.
It'll get there.
You'll get there.
You know, we've been going to concerts, going to sporting events.
Yes, sir. 21-20.
And just trying to show people that no matter what your lot in life is, what your financial circumstances are, what your physical limitations might be, there's always that next step. One of my favorite sayings is, if you can do 10 push-ups, you can probably do 11. And if you can, you know, swing a golf club, maybe you can swing it better. Maybe this next step leads to this next step, leads to this next step. If you can make $10, maybe you can make 20. It's all about living your best life while you've still got air in your lungs. We're still relatively young, even though we joke about being old farts, you know, both near 50, you're at 50, I'm approaching. But why not live your best life? You never know what's coming tomorrow. That's what this whole show is about. This whole show is about embracing things as they are, not trying to change them, but trying to maximize your opportunities and have as much fucking fun as you possibly can. Be a good person, affect people in a positive way along the way. And we're trying to capture that and in this web series.
Right. Life can be heavy. We've experienced that in the 26, 27 years. Life can be heavy, but there's a lot still to enjoy. And, you know, even if it's momentary, you know, bouts of, or, you know, momentary access to happiness or laughing, like this show is about, hey, check out this song, or hey, check out this Wally Backman video.
Yeah, or enjoy this beer.
Try this beer.
Pizza, or check out this restaurant. Go to this local business and give them support.
Like, this is, you know,
living life to the
fullest. In this day and age, like, life is short, life is tough sometimes, and take like a few minutes. Like, what was it Anthony Bourdain said? Like, drink the pint in the afternoon. I'm paraphrasing and getting it completely wrong. It's like, drink the pint in the afternoon, have the dessert, whatever it is. Be smart, but
enjoy yourself.
Life is short, and, you know, find things that are inspiring.
The internet is just
you can find that
shit.
all
if you
over
want that,
Facebook.
You can find it somewhere else. You're not going to find it
here.
Just
go on Facebook and you'll find it.
We're going to have a good time. If you guys want to come along for the ride, we've got a couple of empty seats. You can ride along with us. We're just going to keep you having a good time. I owe a lot of, you know, the great experiences I've had over the past 25 years to you, being a champion, to pretty much everything, and just saying, yeah, why not? I really appreciate that. And I think anybody would be lucky to have a friendship like we do. We get to film it. We get to have a conversation about it every week. And we're only just beginning on this. So join us for the ride. Thank you for tuning in every week. You know what to do.
Cheers. Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Be good.
Yep. We'll see you guys soon.